90% of diabetics get this wrong, and it keeps blood sugar high. What if I told you that 90% of people with diabetes are fighting the wrong problem every single day? They cut sugar, they avoid desserts, they fear sweet foods, they try very hard to do what they believe is right. Yet their blood sugar remains high, their energy stays low, and their frustration grows over time. This does not happen because they are careless. It does not happen because they lack discipline. It happens because they were taught an incomplete truth about diabetes. Today we are going to talk about what most diabetics get wrong, why this misunderstanding keeps blood sugar high, and how a clearer way of thinking can make diabetes easier to manage. This is not about blame. This is about understanding. The biggest misunderstanding about diabetes. Most people believe diabetes is simply a sugar problem. From the beginning, they are told that sugar is dangerous and that avoiding sweetness is the key to control. As a result, many people remove candy, soda, and desserts from their lives. They feel proud of that effort, and they should. But then something confusing happens. Blood sugar numbers do not improve the way they expected. Morning readings remain high. Energy crashes still occur. Medications are increased despite their best efforts. This is where frustration begins. People start to believe their body is broken. Some think diabetes is just a natural decline that cannot be controlled. Others quietly feel guilty, believing they are doing something wrong without knowing what it is. The truth is simpler and more hopeful than that. Diabetes is not just about sugar. It is about how the body processes glucose and how quickly food turns into glucose after it is eaten. Why avoiding sugar is not enough. Sugar does raise blood sugar. That fact is not wrong. However, it is not the whole story. Blood sugar rises whenever food is converted into glucose, not only when something tastes sweet. Many foods that do not taste sweet are digested extremely fast. When digestion is fast, glucose enters the bloodstream quickly. This rapid rise forces insulin to respond aggressively. Over time, this repeated stress leads to insulin resistance and unstable blood sugar. This is why so many people say they do not eat sweets, yet their blood sugar remains high. They are telling the truth. They removed sugar, but they did not remove fast digestion. Until this is understood, diabetes will always feel confusing. The real problem most diabetics face. The real problem for most people with diabetes is refined carbohydrates. These are foods that have been processed to remove fiber and natural structure. Without fiber, food breaks down very quickly in the digestive system. When this happens, glucose floods the bloodstream in a short amount of time. Blood sugar rises sharply. Insulin is forced to work harder than it should. After the spike comes a crash, which leads to hunger, fatigue, and cravings. This cycle repeats meal after meal, day after day. Over time, the body becomes less responsive to insulin, and blood sugar becomes harder to control. This happens even when sugar is completely avoided. That is why focusing only on sweetness does not solve the problem. How digestion affects blood sugar. To understand diabetes, it is important to understand digestion. When food enters the body, it must be broken down into smaller pieces before it can be absorbed. The speed of this process matters. Fast digestion means glucose enters the bloodstream quickly. Slow digestion means glucose enters gradually. Stable blood sugar depends on slow and steady digestion. Fiber plays a critical role in this process. Fiber slows digestion and delays glucose absorption. Foods that lack fiber digest quickly and behave almost like pure sugar inside the body. Once this concept is understood, blood sugar management becomes much clearer. The goal is not to remove all glucose. The goal is to control how fast it enters the bloodstream. Why refined carbohydrates cause problems? Refined carbohydrates are especially problematic because they digest rapidly and provide very little nutritional support. They raise blood sugar without providing lasting energy or satiety. This is why people often feel hungry soon after eating meals based on refined foods. Blood sugar spikes, insulin responds, glucose drops, and hunger returns. This pattern creates a cycle that is very difficult to break without understanding what is happening inside the body. Many people blame themselves for lacking willpower when the real issue is the type of food being eaten. When refined carbohydrates are reduced and digestion slows, this cycle begins to weaken. Blood sugar becomes more stable and hunger becomes more manageable. Why fruit is often feared. Another common misunderstanding in diabetes is the fear of fruit. Because fruit contains natural sugar, many people assume it must be harmful. As a result, they avoid it completely. This fear is understandable, but it is misplaced. Fruit does not behave like refined sugar inside the body. Fruit contains fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. These components change how sugar is absorbed. Fiber slows digestion and reduces the speed at which glucose enters the bloodstream. Antioxidants support insulin sensitivity and metabolic health. Water adds volume and fullness, which helps regulate appetite. When fruit is eaten in reasonable portions and combined with balanced meals, it does not cause the same sharp blood sugar spikes as refined carbohydrates. Avoiding fruit entirely can actually make blood sugar harder to control by increasing cravings and reducing dietary balance. Eating less versus eating right. Many people with diabetes believe the solution is to eat less food. They skip meals, reduce portions, and tolerate constant hunger. Unfortunately, hunger does not equal control. If meals are still based on fast digesting foods, blood sugar will still rise sharply. Skipping meals can even worsen blood sugar by increasing stress hormones and overeating later. Diabetes management is not about eating less. It is about eating foods that digest slowly and support stable blood sugar. When meals include adequate protein, healthy fats, vegetables, and fiber, digestion slows naturally. Blood sugar rises gradually instead of sharply. Energy remains steady and cravings decrease. Eating enough of the right foods is far more effective than eating too little of the wrong ones. The metabolic nature of diabetes. Diabetes is not a moral failure. It is not caused by weakness or lack of discipline. It is a metabolic condition in which the body struggles to manage glucose efficiently. Understanding this changes everything. It removes guilt and replaces it with clarity. It allows people to focus on strategies that actually work instead of blaming themselves. When digestion is slowed and blood sugar spikes are reduced, insulin has a chance to work properly again. This does not happen overnight, but it does happen steadily. Consistency matters more than perfection. Small daily changes are more powerful than extreme rules that cannot be maintained. What stable blood sugar feels like. When blood sugar becomes more stable, people notice changes beyond the numbers. Energy improves. Mood becomes more even. Hunger becomes less intense and less frequent. Sleep often improves. Focus becomes clearer. The constant mental burden of diabetes begins to lighten. These changes are signs that the body is no longer under constant metabolic stress. They are signs that the approach is working. Stability creates confidence, and confidence makes consistency easier. If you have struggled with diabetes despite avoiding sugar, you are not failing. You were simply never taught the full picture. Once you understand that digestion speed matters more than sweetness alone, diabetes becomes easier to manage. This is not about fear. It is not about deprivation. It is about understanding how your body works and working with it instead of against it. Control is possible, stability is possible, and it begins with clarity. Disclaimer. This content is for educational purposes only and does not replace medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your diet or treatment plan. If this video helped you, please like it and share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to the channel for more simple diabetes guidance and leave a comment below to let us know your experience, and thank you for watching.